So I've got the gas tank off, and now I'm going to go ahead and take this the white metal shroud off. So this is going to be removed. I'm going to take the carburetor back off, probably pull the flywheel, and then that'll give me great access to everything in the crankcase and in the head. So here we go. So to remove this shroud, there's a couple of screws on top of here, and then there's a couple of bolts. There's a bolt here, and then directly on the opposite side as well. So go ahead and get those off. May go ahead and take the carb off first, and then the air chamber, and get those out of the way first. That'll give me better access to that. And just like the first time I took this off, I have to remove this linkage first. And so undo these two screws here, pull it off, and then I can get to these bolts right here. Seems like I've done this before. And we'll take these covers off, get to where we can pull the flywheel off. And again, the wonderful flywheel puller. I have had a lot of practice with this lately. Between Steve's motor tracking down the electrical problem onto that 40 horsepower revenue and this puppy. So I'm going to get this thing set up. I'm going to try and do that without spinning the crankshaft counterclockwise and risk messing up the impeller. And these things are great. That takes away a lot of headache. I'm trying to get that done. Flywheel off. Now let's see if we can get the stator plate off. Stator, stator. I've heard it pronounced all different ways out there in YouTube land. Yeah, looks like this plate's going to have to come off. Take note of the wires coming off of here. The green ground coming from the coil, and then the one lead coming from the condenser. Now the fun part is I've got to undo these guys here. So I've got to undo a little bracket under here, clamp that's holding these wires in place. Trying to see. Yep, there it is. There's a screw right underneath the coil that I've got to do to lift the stator plate off. So while I've got this coil off, I want to show you that I actually did a little more reading, more studying on how to test these coils with the multimeter or multimeter, however you want to pronounce it. So basically when you look at this set of coils, and I just pulled it off and pulled the spark plug wire out of it, which just slips in over that. You've got two main wires that come off of this. This is your ground, this is your lead, and we're going to do first of all a continuity test. If you set your multimeter to about really it can be anywhere like 2K, 200. I like to go probably in the 2K. I'm going to try that out first. I don't remember which one I did. I think I went up to 2K. And what we're going to do as we check each of these, and it doesn't matter which one you put on, you're looking for your multimeter to zero out, which means that there's no break in the wire. And so that's zeroed out, which means that we've got a good primary coil or primary winding on this unit, so that's a good coil. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to set this up higher, because we're looking for actual resistance this time and not continuity. So when we check for continuity, that just tells us that there's no break. Let me get a good connection here. Just tells us that there's no break in the wire when that zeroes out. This time we want resistance, so I'm going to set this higher to the 20K because this is not an auto ranging, and I'm going to hold onto ground here, and then I'm going to touch the little core inside of this slot down here with my red one, and we should get a reading like we're getting there of anywhere from 3 to 8,000, so that's 7.84 thousand ohms resistance, which this is a good coil because we want resistance in the spark plug line. And that's how you tell if this coil is good or not. This is a good one, and I knew these looked fairly brand new. Typically off an old motor like this, they're going to be old, cracked, and dried like the ones we pulled off of Steve's motor, kind of like this one that's got a crack right there on the edge. So that was kind of an early indicator that that was not a good coil. But these ones, someone had replaced fairly recently on this motor. So anyway, that's how we test with the multimeter on a coil. So jumping back into taking the stator plate off, here's one of the screws that we're going to be taking off, and then there'll be another one under this coil. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one out, get this coil off, and we'll show you this coming off later. And there's one more screw right here for that stator plate. Should be able to, there we go. Now it'll come off. So there are 3 of these. Ta-da! Stator plate off. And what can we do with this? Haha, there we go. Now we got something we can work with. Pretty simple when you look at it, but we're going to have to take this off so we can get back to where we can, you know, move those pistons in and out, and we get to take the head off. So this will be coming off. So let's take this off first and let's see if we can get a look inside those cylinders. Take a look and imagine this will come off. All sorts of fun. Here we go. By the way, these spark plugs are Champions J4C. Alright, now I got to clean up a little bit, get a little bit more organized, because I'm going to be taking out a lot more bolts here. So, alright, time to pull these head bolts out. This one already came off with the clip for the spark plug wires. This is a first for me, so you're seeing it here live first, folks. Well, recorded anyway. Don't know if it's live. It's live to me right now, but but I digress. You know, that was pretty loose fitting. And I'm just wondering if I don't just have a, you know, a bad gasket problem here, which is why I had, you know, possibly why I'm having such low compression. We shall see what we see. I mean, that, yeah, there's some problems with that gasket right there. Let me swing this around here. You can see that area right in there. The gasket is busted, because that's supposed to go all the way, and that could be a problem. So had good seal around that lower one. Well, not excellent, because it was pretty low compression, but I'm wondering if that wasn't causing some of that zero compression for that top cylinder. So we might be okay if I just get a new head gasket. Ooh, fingers crossed. Interesting, the different shapes and everything on piston heads from engine to engine. You know, did somebody actually think about, you know, what this shape does? So I'm guessing this, you know, creates venting. I guess toward the back there, you'll see, if you can see those little openings in the back of the chamber, yeah, they do allow for venting for exhaust and intake. So pretty cool, pretty cool. Alright, I'm really hoping that a new gasket will fix this. That would be wonderful. Well, that's all for now. See you when I get that gasket.